tutors doing with their business today? Every single person that you're going to hear about today has been what we call a Tutorpreneur Hero Award winner. And the Tutorpreneur Hero Award winner has kind of grown over time. So it started off with people that were in the Insider Secrets Club and they were getting great results inside of their business. Then when we started Jumpstart, it started being the person who got the most students in the program ended up becoming a Tutorpreneur Hero Award winner. So we've got a mix of both inside of this group today. And you're going to get to hear some exciting stories of people who are not even here today because they're so busy tutoring, which I love. Like I reached out to everyone, and I got 4 stories that I'm going to share with you guys of people that are doing really well inside of their business, but because they're tutoring right now, they couldn't be on the call. So this is an exciting day today, you guys. We are going to be giving away another shirt, and I just got this picture, you guys. This is so cool. You got to see this. Now, those of you that are on with me in Zoom, you guys aren't going to be able to see it, but everybody else will. So Suzanne, I sent this out to all of my coaches that work with the online tutor coach. This is Suzanne Davis, and she is one of the Jumpstart tutors. And I sent her the t-shirt that I'm going to be raffling away today. It is, I will tutor you in a room. I will tutor you now in Zoom. I will tutor you in your house. I will tutor you with my mouse. I will tutor you here or there. I will tutor you because I care. And she's like, oh my gosh, I love this so much. I'm gonna wear it out is what I'm gonna do. And I was like, oh, that's so awesome. I love it. So you guys are gonna get to, if all you need to do is just comment, tell us who you are, where you're from. And now's a really great time too, if you've got questions. You've got an entire room full of successful tutors who can answer your questions. So ask your questions. We'll bring them on in to our call today. Now, you guys, if you haven't had a chance to sign on up for the How to Create a Profitable Online Tutoring Business, you need to do that right away. Spots are filling up. I'm going to be teaching you guys how you can take advantage of something called group synergy. I'm going to be showing you how you can get additional students in your business. And I'm going to be teaching you how do you get paid what you're worth, even in a crappy economy. Okay. So definitely sign on up so that you can learn those tips. And Elizabeth is going to put a link inside of the chat for you guys so that you guys can to join us for that. Otherwise, it's in the description. There is a link for you and you'll be able to check us out that way too. So today we've got Audrey Connor Gibson. Woo woo. Hey, Audrey. Long time no see.
I know. It's been a moment.
No, I think, you know what I think is cool is like you were like one of the recent winners for our Tutorpreneur Hero Award that we had. And so, it's been a few weeks now. We've had another whole cohort go through already. 8 weeks it's been almost. So next week is the last week. So have you been able to keep up the momentum with your tutoring business?
I'm keeping up the momentum, but I'm also going to be truthful. Like after I won the award, I was like, oh, this is great. And then literally the next week, I lost 8 students.
Oh, no.
Yeah, just, whoop, okay, disappeared. Go ahead and go. Of course, it kind of, it was salty, but I was able to build it up. And now I have like 2 extra than before.
Okay,
so I actually
great.
earned 10 students. So right now I'm at 30 hours a week.
Wow.
So,
That's
awesome. It's just my Mondays and my Wednesdays is insanity. So the latest and the greatest, I actually have a young man from Kenya and never had that before. That was really cool. I mean, I live in Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah. But it's like I start at 8 o'clock and I don't finish until like 9 o'clock at night. And that's my Mondays and Wednesdays, which is crazy, but that's what is available for a lot of my students because I teach secondary math. So I have a lot of the older kids. So some of them can stay later. Some of them, they still have activities, which I'm kind of like, how?
Yeah.
Pandemic? How do you have activities?
Right.
But we make it out, and a lot of them are doing very well. And I'm just, everything's going pretty good.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And things are going to happen inside of our business. Can anybody relate to that roller coaster in their business? Rachel, Alan, like, have you had the roller coaster?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. You get students, you lose students. You get students, you lose students. But I think what makes it different is you guys got strategies now for, okay, so what do I do when I lose those students?
Exactly.
It's like you don't have to just sit here and just wait for referrals or just wait for something amazing to happen.
Right.
Maybe somebody will type in a Google keyword. Yay! And maybe somebody will find me. Like, we can't sit on those kinds of things. We can set them up inside of our business, but we can't wait for that to happen sometimes when we need the students now. So that's awesome that you were able to go on in and be able to get some of those students. So what did you do to be able to get 8 more students, like those 8 students left? How did you get them back? Not them particularly,
not
but
them,
new
but
ones.
I got you. Done buy-sell trades through Facebook. I was able to get a few of those. Also word of mouth. And the person from Kenya, he actually saw my live stream that I made up called "Why We Suck at Algebra."
Nice.
And it was a question that was posed by one of my clients, and she was just like, "Why do we suck at algebra? Like, if I didn't have you, I wouldn't be passing algebra." But she's passing algebra, which is great. She's got an A now. She's never got an A ever in math. So these are the things that fuels me. But it's you just do a little bit of here, a little bit of there, and I'm constantly telling people what I do. And I tell the ones that I'm currently tutoring, hey, there's referrals. Go. Give me people. You see how good you feel about it? Wouldn't you like your best friend to feel the same way? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, if you guys do it very well, we can probably do some kind of coordination that you might be able to do it together.
Yeah.
You know, so it's always like a little bit of something. It's never just one thing. I try not to kill myself when it comes to social media, because at one point I was doing too much. You know, I was doing Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I actually got a couple of other people from LinkedIn. Pinterest, learning how to blog, learning how to live stream, and it can be overwhelming, but a lot of my things is like word of mouth, and I just don't give up. Like, if I'm just walking around, I'm like, I even ordered a face mask, you know, that says I'm a tutor, or it says I'm an algebra tutor. I actually made one from, what is it, Vistaprint. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to wear this mask, and I'm just going to be a walking billboard. So that's one of the other new strategies that I'm about to take on. So
that is so funny, because on Monday, people are going to learn how they can get the face mask that I created called I Tutor, What's Your Superpower? And Elizabeth is going to come on into our free training, and you're going to get to actually see it. And it is like the perfect thing for introverts like me, because I hate talking about my business to other people. So like something like that makes it so super simple. I have to wear a mask, right, for my safety. And this allows me to not only do that, but also talk about my business without me actually doing it. Like, they actually approach me versus me having to approach them.
Yep.
Which is awesome. I love it. I love it. So very, very cool. You guys, I'm going to share Alexa's story with you real quick, because I think this is pretty awesome. Alexa in Wally is a reading tutor. She's got twin 3-year-old girls. When I checked in with her, she said, Joanne, I am overbooked. I have so many students. And and a lot of you are like, well, what if she's overbooked? Why did she send the students to me? You have no idea the actual mental stress that you go through when somebody like messages you that there's another client, and you're like, all right, could I take one more? Like, you start thinking, like, I could. Okay, yeah, I could. And you don't realize you're overbooked until it's already happened. Like, you know you're booked, and then you're like, oh, but so-and-so might be leaving soon, so maybe if I fill that spot ahead of time, it'll be good, and then that other person never leaves. So that's the situation she has found herself in. And she had her best month last month, making $9,000. Isn't that like incredible? And she's helping her family right now reach financial freedom. So I just think it's really awesome just to hear, you know, the incredible results. I'll never forget the very first time I had my first $10,000 month just from tutoring you guys. I was talking to my daughter. We're at Lululemon, and she's like, Mom, can I buy something? And I'm like, nope, no. You cannot buy anything right now. In fact, we're going to make this like an awesome thing. Like, I'm really close to having my first $10,000 month. when I have my first $10,000 a month, I didn't say if, I said when I have my first $10,000 a month, I'm going to take you to Lulu. And you can pick anything out you want. Any one thing you want. Okay. Those of you who have ever shopped at Lulu, you know why I say one thing. So that very next month, I had my very first $10,000 month, and I said, all right, let's do it, girl. She went into Lulu. She bought something. While I was there, I'm like, dude, I'm buying something for me too. And I got something nice and comfy for me, and I love it. And it was really, really exciting. So, things can begin to change with us. Like things that we thought we couldn't afford, we can now afford, and we can do the things that, we never thought possible before. Now, you guys, I think it was 2 summers ago, Rachel and I met. Was it 2 summers ago? I mean, we had been connected on Instagram. I think you were inside of the Ultimate Support Group for a little while, but then you really came on into our community. Was it 2 years ago?
Yes, I think I started coaching with you 2 Augusts ago.
Yes.
And then shortly after we started coaching, I joined the Insider Secrets Club.
Yes. And you joined the Jumpstart program as well, didn't you?
Yes, I actually did it the very first time you had it, and then
That's
I did it the second time as well.
and
it's just so good.
People do want to do it again. So people are like, well, why would you want to do it again? And you're going to hear me talk about group synergy, because that actually is one of the big main reasons people join again, is because the power of group synergy. We're going to be talking about that on Monday. So definitely come and learn what is that group synergy thing and why does it matter. But what were you struggling with in the very beginning with your tutoring business?
Oh my goodness, a lot of things. I had no sense of direction. Based on the information I was getting from the Ultimate Support Group, I knew, okay, I need to be doing this and I need to be doing this, but I didn't know what to start with. Should I start with a website? Should I start by flyering? Where do I begin? Mm-hmm. So I think that's when I reached out to you and I said, Joanne, I need help because I'm not sure exactly what I should be focusing on right now.
Right. So it was like that direction. You needed direction. Like, okay, where do I put my time? What do I focus on? I can't focus on everything. So what do I focus on so that I can get the results? And you were, if I remember, were you also getting students from Wyzant at that time?
Yes.
And Wyzant had just made a change, and you were pretty upset about that change, if I remember.
I was very upset about it.
Because at first, like at the beginning, they would take like 40%, and then, you worked your way down, and you had worked your way down to like 20%. They were only taking 20% of the profits. And then they decided to make a change that everybody was going to pay 25%, no matter where you were on the scale, right? Yeah. And so you had just gotten hit by that, and you were pretty upset because it was like, I worked so hard to get here, and now you're going to slap me with this? Like, so frustrating. So you're like, I really want to be able to get students on my own and not use a tool like this, or just rely on a tool like this in order to be able to get my students. Right. Tell us about that experience. Anything that you want to add to it? I know I kind of shared a lot, but.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, so I guess I didn't mind getting students from Wyzant, and I do actually still have students from Wyzant, but like you said, I didn't want to be reliant. I wanted to be able to branch out on my own and figure out, okay, how can I go about claiming my own students through, like, on my own, as opposed to through another website or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then and you made it happen. I remember, was it the second time around that you joined the Jumpstart program? You ended up getting 10 students?
Yeah.
Or was that the first time?
I think the first time was a little shy of 10, and then the second time around I said I wanted to get at least 10.
Oh, that's cool.
That happened. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you started off, like, the first time around you joined, you got some pretty good results, and the second time you got some pretty good results both times. That's fantastic. Yeah. So what does your tutoring business look like today?
Okay, well, I live in Connecticut and I work from home, and originally I set out to tutor ESL and reading comprehension. I struggled to narrow it down to one, and so I decided to do both. And after that first after that second round of the Jumpstart is when I became fully booked. And kind of like Audrey, I did experience some ups and downs, especially going from this past summer into the fall. There were just a couple of students that I didn't anticipate not continuing with me for the school year. And of course, a lot of it had to do with COVID, just, overloaded with being online all the time. And so some parents wanted to take a step back with their kids. And I completely understand that. But slowly I did get back to being fully booked, which I am now. And I'm actually working on slightly rebranding myself because I've had an influx of writing students. And I've realized that the reading comprehension and writing for middle school and high school, which are the students I work with, they really go hand in hand because the students need to be able to analyze the text and also explain it in their own words. And usually that's in the form of an essay.
Right.
So I've been contemplating how to rebrand myself in that way.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, because it's not like they could just like explain it to their teachers. They actually have to write down and really go through diving into it a little bit deeper analytically. So now I know who to pass on when those students come to me because I didn't enjoy that part. We get very clear on what we enjoy doing with our tutoring business when we start working with students. And it's like you have parents who are like, hey, can you work on this? Can you work on that? And you're like, yeah, I can work on that. And then all of a sudden you start working on it. And you're like, I don't enjoy this. I don't like working on this. Like, no. It's like I can do it, but I don't like doing it. And there's that big difference, right? And so I love being able to pass on students, to people like Rachel, you guys, or Audrey, or Alan, or any one of you guys that I really get to know inside of the community so that, that my students are working with people who love the area that they're tutoring.
And it's so funny, Joanne, because I originally picked reading comprehension because I didn't enjoy tutoring writing. But I think as I've worked with students more often, just being able to watch them and help them make the connections and feel proud of what they've written, that has just completely changed my mindset about it. And so now I love it.
There you go. And I think that can happen with absolutely anything that we tutor, right? You try it out and you're like, okay, do I like this? And then you find out, yeah, I totally do like this. So that's awesome. What advice do you have for some of our tutors right now that are just getting started?
I would say don't allow yourselves to be overwhelmed by the information overload you're going to be receiving. I think one of the reasons why I did the Jumpstart twice was because the first time around I learned so much, but there were so many things that I felt had gone over my head. And so I did it a second time to kind of really get a grasp of everything that was being shared with me. And I would definitely also recommend persevering. It might take some time at the beginning. For me, it took, I think, about 9 to 10 months before I was fully booked after starting. But it's so rewarding afterwards. And once you have certain tools in place, it will be easier to maintain being fully booked. You just have to really commit at the beginning and not give up hope.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what advice do you have for people that they're thinking about joining that webinar on Monday, but they're not sure?
I would say you have nothing to lose.
Right.
So if you're just starting out, do everything you can in order to get to a point where you're fully booked. And I would say, yeah, all these resources that Joanne offers, they have a lot of really great content. So definitely go for it.
Yeah, and we're also going to be giving away some free stuff too on that call. So,
bonus.
Even bonus, right? So definitely come because you'll be put into the drawing and you'll get to see if you win our free gifts that we're offering. So that'll be really awesome. Audrey, what advice do you have for people that are just getting started with growing their business?
Of course, it's my strength and my weakness, being patient. I mean, it's that whole perseverance, but just being patient, like it's going to happen. And I know for me, it seems like it happened a lot quicker for some reason But at the same time, like we said, there's going to be that up and down. So it's just a matter of just being patient. There's going to be days that I'm not as cheery and like, hey guys, you can do it. Because as soon as the call's over, I'm like, I just want to make it through. I just want to be successful. And it's hard, especially because I was in the classroom and making that transition from being a teacher to a tutor. It's a different mindset.
It is.
And I know I say this almost every call, but it's true. You have to change that mindset from having someone tell you what to do, when to do it, and where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to wear and all this other stuff, to you are now in control of what you do. Who you want to tutor, you get to choose that. Like, you don't have to pick every single solitary kid. You can pick a kid that's like, you know what, I like that kid, I like that parent, let me go and work with you. So patience, again, just like Rachel said, perseverance. And I went through the whole Jumpstart thing twice myself. So maybe 2 times is a charm, people. Because the first time I wasn't ready, but the second time I'm like, oh, that's why we're doing this. Got it. All right. Now that makes sense.
Yes.
So
yeah,
maybe it is like the first time, and don't be overwhelmed. Don't be overwhelmed. You know, you have support. You're not by yourself.
And if you're overwhelmed, it's okay to just, like, I know, like, I still get overwhelmed every single day. There's things that's like, okay, I love to learn. And so usually that's where I get the overwhelm from, is when I'm learning new things. So I listen to like audiobooks all the time, and I'm reading books all of the time, and I'll get overwhelmed and I'm like, nope, the brain's full. I gotta stop right now. But I can keep on going tomorrow when my brain's not so full. But right now it's full. And so know that there are going to be times where you feel overwhelmed. It's just, you just got to start like listening to your body, and how much information can it take at once, and how much can you actually put into practice as well. Because it's not about just like listening to the information. It's actually putting it into practice so that you can get the results that you want to be able to get. Now, we also have Elaine Lingard. You guys, she was one of the very first Tutorpreneur Hero Award winners. Elaine Lingard is in Ireland. She actually started off, she had an in-person tutoring center, and she wanted to be able to work with kids during the day with tutoring online. She has now since moved all of her students online because of COVID, and she also has now a couple of tutors that are working for her. So she tutors 30 hours a week herself, and then she has other tutors that have another 20 hours of tutoring that she's also making some additional income on. And I think that's just incredible. Like, a lot of people think, oh, because COVID hit, it took out tutoring companies. No, if people like moved online with this whole entire process, we're really making a lot more money than we've ever made before. It's all about like being at the right place at the right time. And I feel like if you were already an online tutor when it hit, you were in the right place at the right time. And if you're deciding to come even now, it's the right time to be able to join right now, because the in-person tutoring centers, they're struggling. And so you don't have competition with them. In-person tutors, you have no competition with them. So if you were an in-person tutor and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do this online, come join us. We'll be able to help you. Most people I find, it's not that they don't know how to tutor, it's that they don't know how to run an online tutoring business. And so once you learn those steps, then everything else becomes a lot easier for you. So that is very, very exciting. And we have some amazing people inside of the house right now. So thank you guys for continuing to put your comments inside of the chat. We've got Pualani in here. She said that she always gets so much from each presentation, from each live that we do. So Pualani, I'm so glad that you are here. Keep joining us. We love you. You're amazing. I got to meet Pualani on Tuesday when she came to our question answer call. Oh, love her. Can't wait to see the success that girl is going to roll around with. It's going to be really awesome. You guys, we have Alan Sow back in the house. Woo, woo. Alan, were you an engineer before?
I was. I was an electrical engineer. I worked for 11 years. I worked 5 years at one company, and then 6 years at another company. And I liked it. I was good at it. I was no complaints. my bosses usually always want to keep me on the 2 times I left. But I just started tutoring online as like a hobby or as a side, just because to explore like what would it be like for it to be a business, because I always volunteered as a tutor. And then this is the first year I'm doing it full time. Like I'm full time tutoring this year.
Oh, first time. And so how is that going?
It's good. It was kind of, when I started the year, there was expectation my wife would be working some. And she was working for the first part of the year, but after COVID, we ended up pulling up all the kids from their daycares, and because the oldest one was going to have to do online schooling anyway. So we pulled them from the daycares, all the kids are home, and we decided this year we would keep them home. And the oldest one, who's first grade, she should just be homeschooled by my wife. We're kind of still part of the district. It's kind of this thing where it's like we're still enrolled in the district, but like my wife is the teacher technically.
Yeah.
And so we get some support from the district, and the district gets funding, but like we can work on our schedule. We don't have to like keep her to like a Zoom schedule basically for first grade.
Right.
But it also means that my wife hasn't been working. So like basically like it's my income that for the 5 of us, basically I have to provide that level of income. So
that's awesome. And you were able to provide that level of income. And you said before we even got on the call, you're working about like 30, 35 hours each week.
Yeah. And my rates went up quite a bit because of the demand. Even over the summer, I was pretty busy. And I think like this year I'll probably hit, I know we have a few weeks left. I'm probably going to hit 100,000, I think.
Yay!
So so it's definitely like definitely an income to support the family, which is good.
We need to have a new thing. I know I probably get in like huge trouble with this somewhere. 6-figure tutors. We should have the 6-figure tutor club.
I mean, the just this shit, like it can be done. It's tough to get there, right? But like whatever the level of the number of hours. But yeah, it's been really busy for me because 30 hours is kind of a lot, because my schedule ends up being like the mornings I'm with the kids, which is why I'm free this morning. I'm letting my wife handle all the kids. But like I don't usually tutor in the mornings. I try to avoid tutoring in the mornings.
Sure.
Unless it's like really early in the morning before the kids are like kind of fully awake and everything. So that's where I feel some overflow students. It's like some students on the East Coast, because I'm on the West Coast. Some students on the East Coast can meet at like 9:30, so I get up at 6:30 to meet with them for an hour. Mm-hmm. But my main tutoring schedule is like 1 to 5, Tuesday through Saturday. I decided because the kids are homeschooling, we're going to shift our weekends a little bit, so I actually work on Saturdays a bit to fill that in. But I take Sunday and Monday mostly off.
Nice.
And 5 o'clock to like 8 o'clock is like dinners and bedtimes and everything. And then I do another shift like 8 to like sometimes 10.
Oh, okay.
8 to 10 at night. And so it's pretty taxing and busy. So I kind of want to be more like 25 hours, to be honest. But like, right now it's like a really busy right before finals and everything.
Sure. But that's awesome. Like that, I think, I hope you guys are like listening to this and you're inspired. Francina just mentioned that this is just so inspiring for her. And I want people to realize like you guys are real tutors. You're really doing it. You're really getting success. I had somebody email me this past week and they said, people don't want online tutors in my area. And I thought, why are we only focusing on your area? Like you've got the entire world at your disposal of people that you could be reaching on out to. Like, but a lot of us, we have that thought in our head and it's really hard for us to see what's possible. We need to see that other tutors are doing this. This is why I feature you guys so much, because if I were just to feature myself, you'd get bored of me. Like, yeah, she can do it because of this, this, and this. And I want you to see, it doesn't matter if you're male, female, black, white, tutoring math, tutoring reading, tutoring test prep, tutoring. It doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters, right? Like at the end of the day, everybody has the opportunity to get booked solid and have the business that they dreamed of. So your business is pretty booked, Alan, with some awesome students, and you're able to raise your family with them and be part of that process. How awesome is that? I mean, I know so many engineers that they're working so many hours because they're on salary and they don't have the ability to move around their schedule like you're doing. That's really awesome.
Yeah, like my brother actually, he lives in the area and he works really hard. He's a really great guy. He does amazing work and he works hard, but like he has to work with suppliers in Korea, so sometimes he's like on really late calls at night or like just meetings and all the time. And he gets well paid for it. But yeah, like I get to spend probably a lot more time with my kids like all the mornings pretty much, and not as many hours basically working. You know, there's the downsides in the US at least for, you know, doing your own business. You got to pay your side of the taxes. So overall taxes are higher. I just signed up for a health plan because I was on COBRA coverage with my previous employer, but that runs out after 18 months. And so it'd been 18 months in October. And so I had to basically enroll in a plan, which is fine. It's just like, so paying for healthcare, doing all the business side of things that you have to do, right? It adds up. But like, yeah, I feel like I get to spend quite a lot of time with my kids, especially when they're young. They're 2, 4, and 6. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. In fact, when you say that, my kids were 2, 4, and 6 when I made this switch too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love it. And now they are 18. We've got an 18-year-old. I have 14-year-old and a 16-year-old. 14, 16,
Wow.
18.
Yeah, right.
Crazy. But you know what? It is absolutely worth it. I mean, whether you want to be able to leave the school system like Audrey, or you want to be more present for your family like Alan, or possibly you're even retiring or you don't want to go back into the school system because of the current situation. Like, this is a great opportunity for you guys. So what advice do you have, Alan, for tutors that are just getting started or they want to be able to take their business to the next level, like really make this legit business?
Yeah. I think similar to what Rachel was kind of saying, like in the beginning, if you feel like an information overload to be like, there's so many things to do and you got to do all of these things, I would say start small. Start just getting a student, getting your first student is like the big thing, because it will help you build confidence. When you're not getting any students and students are leaving and you're not gaining any, you can really doubt, like maybe you're charging too high, maybe that's the problem, maybe you're not really meant to do this. That's not the case. It's just like everyone is in a different circumstance. Everyone, like, it's situational. Like right now, like when you're full and students like walk away, like it doesn't even faze me. Like I don't even notice. I mean, I notice, but like it doesn't bother me like the way it would if I had like only 1 or 2 students. Because so start small, get your first student, just sort of get familiar with the teaching. The website doesn't have to be, nothing has to be perfect before you get your first student. That's the thing I would say, is like, don't like think like you have to have all these things lined up, then you can start getting students, right? Like my first website was just like literally a single page. It just had my rates, the description about me and stuff like that. It was like a Google Sites website, right? And that was like the first thing, and that was fine. And my first students were local students, and they were in person, but some were already online. So just start anywhere to get your first student. Don't feel like you have to like have so much done. And I honestly don't do all the things. Like Joanne has like so many things, and like Suzanne talks about blogging a great deal. I tried blogging. I just couldn't decide to. So do what works for you. Not like what necessarily works for me or works for everyone. Like everyone is different. There's the reason that there's so many things is because not one thing works for everybody. Like you have to decide what it is that works for you in terms of marketing, in terms of reaching out. And I'm happy to answer of the things that I do, but just because you don't get success with it, is just maybe just like it's not the thing that's for you.
Yeah, my other thing is, don't just try one thing either, because some people, they just try one thing and they just stick with it for a really long time, and then it doesn't work, and then they say, well, this doesn't really work. And it's like, no, you should be like trying everything you can possibly right now to get that first student, right? And then you're going to start seeing what works for you, because it's going to be a different formula for all of us. You know, what do we feel comfortable doing? What are we willing to do? All those things, they all come into to play with all of this. You guys, I want to share with you, Terry Grigsby she was one of our very first tutors that also received the Tutorpreneur Hero Award. And Terry broke every record I had ever seen in the very beginning stages. When I first got started helping people, I was helping them one-on-one, or I had a course and like only one person would like show on up to the group calls. And so it was a very small community in the beginning, and not everybody was getting great results in the beginning. There was so much that I needed to learn. And then I met Terry, and I remember like being at this place where I was just like, should I be doing this anymore? Should I be trying to help other tutors? Like, I just don't even know like if this is a good fit for me. Like, am I equipped to do this? And then Terry came along, and Terry got 10 students in 1 week. And she was book solid in her first 6 months. And I remember her, having some devastation that ended up happening inside of her life, and she was able to get through it and still do all the tutoring online. She now has, she got into a car accident recently, and it's rendered her with a lot of headaches and a lot of pain. And the coolest part about all of this is that she has a sustainable online tutoring business where she can focus on her health and focus on working with her students, still bring in an income, pay the bills and all of that kind of stuff, but then also really take care of her health as well. And I think that's so cool. So you guys, like, anything is absolutely possible for you. And we've also got Vasudha Udavan. She's in India. She started charging $24 an hour, which a lot of people in India would say, well, 24 is actually a really great dollar amount. And she's now charging $45 an hour. I think that's awesome. And she has students in the US, Australia, Singapore, and the Middle East. She's earning more money with fewer hours, and she is either at any point in time either fully booked or overbooked. And I just think it's just so awesome just to hear where people are at, what they're doing with their business, and all of that really, really great stuff. So yeah, everybody here is such an inspiration because we can do it. It's just a matter of being able to know, how do I put the pieces in place? What do I need to be focusing on? And really just getting that motivation and drive. I don't know. I'm curious to know if you guys suffered from this at all. Like, when I was first getting started, I struggled with kind of motivation. I had 3 young kids, and I felt like I was just tired all of the time. And so, like, anytime I had a free moment, I wanted to take a nap. I was just tired. I was also dealing with some health issues at the time. And so when it came to working on my business, it was like an afterthought versus like as a before thought. Anybody struggle with that in their business at all? Or am I like the only one? All right, Audrey, tell us.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So what happened for you, Audrey?
I mean, I was making that, as I said before, making that transition, and just teaching in the classroom nowadays is just pure exhaustion.
Yeah.
It's not just the teaching, it's all the other foolishness, like the emails of the meeting of the email, and all these other craziness.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come home, you're just exhausted. But then I had to figure out, what do I really want to do? Like, the tutoring thing, is this what I want to do? Is this my out, or my, hence, freedom away from the shackles of education? But for me, I was like, all right, let me see if this is what I wanted to do before I completely dove in.
Mm-hmm.
So, watched the videos and all that. But it was just a matter of like, okay, I'm doing this at 10 o'clock at night. I'm doing this after I'm grading papers and responding to emails. And all of a sudden, before you know it, boom, it's 12 midnight. And I'm a relatively active person. So I at the time, used to go to the gym. But I had to go to the gym at 4 o'clock. So I'm only getting 4 hours of sleep.
Oh my gosh.
And, and then guess what? After I get to the gym, shower, change, shove food in my mouth, go, and then you had to go to work. And you have to do the same thing all over again. So there was times that I really wanted to take a nap. There was times at lunch, I like shut my door, turned off the light, hid in a corner, and like took a nap. Sometimes I didn't even eat lunch. I was just like, I'm exhausted. I need some kind of strength because I got one more class left or whatever my schedule was. So I totally understand, but it was a dedication. It was like that drive, like, you know what? I got to go through some foolishness in order for me to get what I want to get. Now I wake up still at the early crack of the dawn to go walk on the track, but I come back, I'll have breakfast with my husband. My dog is wondering why I'm still here. Why aren't you leaving to go for the day? But at the same time, now I have time for my family. And then I'm like, okay, got to go to work. And I'll go upstairs. I'll check my emails and then, you know, do a little bit of marketing and just go continue on. But it's something that now I can like breathe. And it is work, but it's a different type of work. Yeah. Now I'm working for me. I'm not working for a corporation. I'm not working for the school system, because if you do something great in the school system, they're like, hey, look what we did. And I'm like, we? Oh, you weren't up at 1 o'clock in the morning when I was creating this project. Right. You were nowhere to be found, but you're going to take credit for it unless it was a failure. And they're like, oh, well, Audrey, you should have done this and you should have done that. Well, again, you weren't there for the try. Right. So it is. There's going to be times that you're going to be like, I'm so exhausted. Now I actually take naps once in a while, and they're refreshing. But before I couldn't do that, you know, I had to sneak it in, and all of a sudden someone's knocking on the door and all that kind of stuff. But it's a dedication. Like, what do you want out of it? Because if you want your freedom, you're going to have to work. If you want to be acknowledged, you have to seek, you have to find. Knock on the door of opportunity. This is a door of opportunity. Yeah. Open that door. Yeah. Give it a try. Take the leap. Grow your wings on the way down, as Les Brown would say.
Yes, I love that.
You know?
I love that.
You're not going to, you know, if you're failed, but guess what? All my math people, it's just like a cubic function. You're going to go up. Then you're going to drop. But you're never going to drop as far as where you just started. And then you pick it right back up again. Yep. Okay? Just have to throw that little math in.
Yeah, of course. And I, you know, and I want to throw a little different kind of math in there too, if that's okay. Because what I'd like to say is once you start building in membership groups into this whole mix, you guys, you get to see exponential growth in the good way. Not the way we're seeing it right now with some other numbers in our lives. But you get to see it really, really happening. And this past summer, I think it was, no, it wasn't this past summer. Since January, I started hitting not just, I was hitting for a really long time 4-digit months, which was great, right? But I continually hit every month since January 5-digit months. Every single month. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the first time that's ever happened. And it's because of exponential growth. And so if you continue to like think about what are different ways that I can also make some supplemental income in addition to the tutoring, right? Because I don't want to sell all my time for, you know, all my hours for money. What are some other things that I can do as well? There's just so much possibility, you guys, once you start moving into this arena. It is absolutely incredible. And I am like jumping up and down. When you guys have success, I am jumping up and down. So last week, Uche, who was in the last Jumpstart group, she was struggling with being able to get one student. So I hold a special call for everybody who hasn't gotten one student yet. There's a point in the program where I'm like, look, let's all get on a call day. Let's see what's going on. Okay, what have you tried? What have you done? And I'm like trying to find like, where's the hole? Where is it not working for you? All right, try this instead. Well, she did the try this instead. She called somebody on up. She told them about our tutoring business, and they felt like they hit the jackpot. They're like, are you kidding me? You are teaching, you're tutoring right now? I've got a kid who's struggling. Boom, she hired her right on the spot. No longer did she have to search for that one student. Now she's got it going. She's like, I thought I have all these pieces in place, Joanne, before I got my one student. And I was like, you know what? No, sometimes you have to get started. because I don't know about you, but I spent a whole heck of a lot of time preparing materials that I don't even use today. Like, I feel like the best materials that you can have for your tutoring business come from the needs of your students, not from you thinking ahead what you think the problems are going to be. Anybody else?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Ellen's like, yeah. I hear that.
Yeah. Like yeah. Once you have tutored for a while and you kind of get a sense of like, what are the kinds of good resources to have, then you can build them offline, but I wouldn't try to anticipate. Like you have no idea. You have no idea who your ideal client is in the beginning. Like you have no idea like what kind of subjects you like to tutor. Just kind of Rachel's kind of exploring like a little bit of like the kinds of things that you're tutoring. That's very, very normal. It's to be like, I think I want to tutor this, but then I do it and then I decide I don't actually like tutoring that. I would tutor this instead. And so then you wasted all of your effort, whatever you were planning to do. So, but yeah, I agree. Like sometimes you have to get started and you get a sense. You got to try things out, try experiment, and that's the only way to really do it. And don't be bogged down as like, well, I can only charge this much if I've like prepped this much. You somehow think like the more work you put in is the only way like people will take you seriously or something like that. And that's not really the relationship at all.
No. No, the way they see it is results. Like the better results you can help people get, that's what's going to determine what's going to charge. It's not how much education you have. Yeah. It's not, I mean, most of us have graduated from high school, and probably what you want to tutor is below a grade level of where you exceeded. I mean, I'm not going to tell some people to, tutor something that is above a grade level that you went to. That would be silly. But I mean, did you go through it? Did you enjoy it? Sometimes people who've never even gone through the whole entire like teaching certification process become better tutors than actual teachers do. Because you never went through the whole certification process, right, Alan?
No, I'm not a certified teacher. I've never been trained as an educator or a teacher. I considered maybe doing it, but like no, I'm an engineering student. Yeah, bachelor's and master's. So.
Yeah. So don't think like, oh, I can't do this until I get the credentials. Don't think I can't do this until. No. Start right now. If it's on your heart, there's a reason. Right? And it can either be additional income for your family, or it can be replacing your income. And it really can replace your income. We're looking at everybody on this call right now has replaced their income with their tutoring. So it's absolutely possible. What becomes impossible sometimes are our own thoughts inside of our head. Those limiting beliefs that stop us from thinking it's possible. And like Rachel, you're shaking your head like, yeah. Did you have some of those limiting beliefs?
I had really bad imposter syndrome. And I know this comes up all the time, but you get to a point at the beginning, especially where you're wondering, am I not getting students because I'm not good enough? And those thoughts are so damaging because you get inside of your head and it could very well affect the way that you tutor the students that you do have in that moment.
Sure. Yeah. And so how did you overcome that?
I actually took a note from you once because I think I had mentioned it to you. Instead of dwelling on anything negative, whether it was like, oh man, that lesson could have gone a lot better, or oh man, this parent is not happy with me. Instead of dwelling on the little negative things, which were really minor compared to the positive things, I started focusing on the positive things. Anytime a parent gave me positive feedback, I wrote it down, and I actually kept kind of a log of these things in a notebook so that when I was having a bad day, I could refer back to them. And I did that for both parents and students themselves, because as wonderful as it is to get positive feedback from parents, it's even more special to get positive feedback from students.
Yes.
And so I allowed that positivity to just soak up inside of me. And that's really what kind of helped me to finally put the imposter syndrome to rest and move forward.
Yeah. I also have like a police who's on guard inside of my head. It's like as soon as like the thoughts, because the thoughts come, it's like, then what do you do with them? Right? Because these thoughts come and I have them all the time. And there's this little cop inside of my head like, stop. He puts up his little stop sign. Stop. You need to exit. You are not allowed in here right now. We have hate capacity. You're not allowed. Get out. And when I find that cop is coming out so much, that's when I like throw in my my audiobooks on personal development, because I've had to really work really hard on that piece myself. I grew up in poverty and had a lot of negative thoughts about money and beliefs and what was possible, and I really did think like the only way to make money was to work a job in order to make money. Like I really didn't understand this idea of having a business or working for yourself or any of that kind of stuff. And then I also had these other thoughts that I had to overcome because my dad would say things about people who had money. They're only in it for this. They're only in it for themselves. All they care about is money. They don't care about people. All those like thoughts, like I had to overcome those as well, because it was like, no, I am being of service to people. And I am charging what I'm worth. I'm not charging more than what I'm worth. I'm charging what I'm worth. And there are going to be people who are going to want to work with me and some people that aren't. And some of that stuff can be so hard to work through when you've got imposter syndrome, you've got negative thoughts, you've got, we hear sometimes also, this is another thing, like we'll hear something once and now all of a sudden it becomes an always. Like one person tells us that they can't afford our services and we're like, oh, nobody can afford my services. Anybody do that one? Like all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, nobody can afford my services, therefore I must be charging too much. And we come to that conclusion way too soon. If we were to work on our confidence and being able to project ourselves in a certain way, I think you'd find that people would not use that as their excuse anymore. So it's really on how you come on off. So a lot of you guys have also been a part of our Insider Secrets Club that we have. So you went on and continued with your journey. Why did you guys do that? So I'm not sure, Alan, I don't think you did Jumpstart, did you? Because you came along before Jumpstart, right?
Well, I did it because you offered it to the Insiders group. And so I did it the first time.
Awesome.
Just to go through it with everyone. I think the very first session, and Terry was the coach I was paired with.
Oh, awesome.
And yeah, it was great. I would say one of the big things that I love to do is I think networking is huge. Mm-hmm. I think networking's probably been one of the biggest things, maybe being active in the group and participating and networking and just knowing other tutors and referring out and getting referrals. That's probably been like the huge value. And so for that alone is like why I'm part of that Insiders group. It's just for the networking. Just really just to know other people, other tutors who are really serious about like their business and really dedicated to like, focusing on that.
Yeah.
And so for me alone, that's the value. I don't have time between the kids and my tutoring. I don't really have time to be on calls. I don't really have time to like be a part of a lot of the things that are going on, which are like awesome. I just don't have time for it.
Yeah.
And I would love to if I could. But just knowing other tutors and engaging with them and just it's
absolutely
amazing.
Huge. Yeah, it's absolutely huge because you're talking about people who have an infinite amount of students available. Like you don't even know, like when you're tapping into a tutor, you have no idea like how many students that they could know that could refer on to you that aren't a good fit for you or any of that kind of stuff. So ongoing professional development and ongoing network are so critical. Now, Elizabeth is here because she has our wonderful wheel. She's been writing down names inside of the wheel. We've got Jessica in the house, and we've got Anna, and all of you guys who've been over here and commenting. Just want to say thank you. I absolutely appreciate it, and so great that you are continuing to show up and watch as we go along. And Elizabeth is going to share her screen, and she is going to spin that wheel, and we're going to see who gets to win our next T-shirt.
All right, there we go. Can you see the wheel?
We can see the wheel.
Awesome. Let me spin it.
looking like Jessica. Jessica! Woo! She was in her car while listening to this, you guys. That's how dedicated that girl is. She's also coming to our conference in Florida in January. So I'm super excited to be able to hang out with you, Jessica. Congratulations on winning the t-shirt. Message me, Jessica, with the size t-shirt you'd like and your address, and I will send that out. Who knows? Maybe I'll be able to bring it to the conference and we'll be able to see you wearing it. It will be. So you guys definitely make sure to sign up for the free training I'm doing on Monday. It is called How to Create a Profitable Online Tutoring Business so that you can have extra money left over at the end of the month, right? I don't want you just having enough money to pay your bills. Like, I want to get you out of that mindset, and I want you having extra money so you can do some fun things with your life. And you can see it is totally possible with everybody who has come into the call today. So definitely make sure that you sign on up so that you can take advantage of that. And you can go to the description and get that link. Elizabeth's also going to throw in the link inside of there as well so that you guys can sign on up and join us. It's going to be a great call, you guys. Well, thank you guys for sharing your stories, your wisdom, your experiences with us, and really motivating and inspiring everybody in this community. Congratulations on being a Tutorpreneur Hero Award winner who is continuing to get great results inside of their business. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see all of you soon. Bye, everyone.